Right, so before we even go through any of the process, what we're going to do is understand the cycle. So when you understand the cycle, you can understand like what's happening on the bird's eye view. Now, this is a step-by-step process of where men operate from. So before we go into the detail, we've got to really understand the bird's eye view of like how you're operating as a man. So if you're a guy and you're like, why do I keep slipping? Why do I not follow through, right? Why do I keep making false promises or break my promises, or I'm still full of shit going backwards or sideways and never forwards? So I want to really introduce this to you, because even if you get this bit from the video, which is going to last about 1.5 minutes, and you'll understand what's going on, the cycle, right? So this is you, little Timmy. So for a lot of the time, you're either thriving or you're surviving in life, right? You're either thriving in your business, your career, your relationships, your health, or you're surviving. Or sometimes you're doing both, right? But at some point, you kind of get to life and you go, I want to get to the next level. I want to lock in. I want to be the next best version of myself. I want to become the man that I know that I'm capable of being. So we find something, and most of the time you're on LinkedIn or you're on social media and you're scrolling through and you're looking for something. You're looking for the magic pill. Every man is looking for the fucking magic pill. So our magic pill is the 5-day reset. So we provide an opportunity for men to be able to come into our world for 5 days, and we show them exactly what they're capable of. So we go into this process, and what ends up happening is day 1, 2, and 3, we will lose 80% of the guys that sign up. And I'm going to go through that part in the next phase, okay? We then go past the breaking point and we break through and we smash. Days 4 and 5, we suddenly go from, we lose about another 10% on day 4. And then there are 10% of the people that registered left by day 5. And that 10% break through and become that person ready to execute. They've gone through all of the hardship and they're still there and they're still ready to learn. And what ends up happening then is that they're ready to go to the next level. So what we do in our world is then we invite them to come and do 6 weeks with us. And that's about building a mission, a purpose, an identity, right? So for 6 weeks, I wonder if this clown, me, can actually get me to where I need to be. All right. I wonder if this system actually works. And then that 6 weeks, like we figure that out and we go through that process. And then for the people that really just want to take this supersonic and on steroids, and we go all the way through to that Mission 365. And we do this over a year. And this is the overhaul. This is where we rewire our mindset. And if you kind of look at this and thinking, I just want to bypass this, I want to go straight to this, in the description, you can click the link. You can see what it's about, right? And you could jump on board anytime you want, okay? If you can get over that wall that you've built up in front of you. So this is the cycle. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down why we lose people here, because it's the reason that you're not where you want to be. It's the reason why on the outside you look successful, but dude, inside you are just empty, vulnerable, chaotic. You don't really know where you're going. You don't really know what it all means. All right. And we're going to go through that process. And if you understand that part, you can then overcome it and you can get to the next level, and you can stop operating in a place of unfulfillment, pain, frustration, or really only operating at 40-50% of your potential. Let's get into it. Right, so we've looked at the bird's eye view. We've looked at the surface level situation that's going on. Now we're going to start digging down and understanding. It's important for you, so you know as a man, understanding what's happening with your behavior. All right, so let's look at the people that never start. So they never start. I would say that there is at least 30% of people that never even start. All right. So if there's 1,000 people that never started, we're looking at 300 people. We've gone from 1,000 here down to 700 before we've even started. And there's 2 key reasons for that. Number 1, they have emotionally reacted to the magic pill. They've seen the magic pill on social media and have gone, that's what's going to change my life. I'm going to do it. So we sign up impulsively. So I put here, it's a burst of motivation. Just, this is it. This is what I've been waiting for. This is what I need. The other one is life dictates their next move. So when they've registered, they probably forget that they've signed up because they're in such a reactive state, or work has pulled them in, or business has taken over, or there's something going on in their relationship. By the way, there's always fucking something going on in a man's life, right? So what ends up happening, that 300 people for 1,000 people have got caught up in that life, have forgotten that they signed up, that motivation is dwelled and they don't want to do it. And that's absolutely fine, because I want to fucking work with those people. Do you know what I mean? So we come here and we're looking at day 1. So everybody kind of comes in on good intentions, but all of a sudden there's a realization of the work that's required to put into yourself. And people have this belief system that it's going to take an awful lot of time, an awful lot of energy, and it's going to stop them from the chaotic life that they're already living, right? This cycle of chaos where when we finish at day 3, we go straight back to that identity. So what it is a belief system that we're going through. We're negotiating with themselves. So we're going, oh, I'm going to do this the next time he does it. I've got too much on at the minute. It's crazy here. All of the excuses. I've got loads going on at home. By the way, remember, we've always got that shit going on. Unless we improve ourselves and operating systems, we'll always suffer. We'll always be drowning in that life. And we've got sucked back in. So there's always the identity that we get sucked back into, right? So by the time we go to day 2, I would say that we've lost probably another 300 people. So by the time we get here, we're roughly around 400 people. So by day 2, when we start day 2, we have lost 600 men because of those key things here, aspects that are happening, right? And those guys will probably sign up to the next one and then the next one, and it will be the same patterns. We've been doing this since 2018 and we see the same people signing up and the same thing happening. They never get past the breakthrough wall. And that's the exact reason they need to break through, right? So when we look at days 2 and 3, okay, we're looking at people who are finding it really hard to face the truths that they're having to go through. So when we do life audits, when we look at our lives, when we look at the reflection in the mirror, it becomes really tough. And some people are not ready for that, okay? We've got the fuck it mindset. So maybe you have slipped behind slightly. Maybe you haven't got day 1 done. You've looked at day 2 and you're like, oh, I'm going to do this, but hasn't worked out perfectly the way that you want it, which leads into the all or nothing mentality. And we just go, fuck it, I'll just do it next time. We just, whatever. I'll just keep going away and going, right? Or you just kind of got bored of working on yourself. You didn't really want it in the first place. So we end up losing all of that. And I would say by the end of day 4, I reckon that we have around 200 people left. Okay, so by the time that we wake up on the Thursday from having started on the Monday, we've lost 800 men because of those key points. And this is not made up. This is data from having run nearly 50 of these 5 days events, right? So then we get into what I call the so close moment. There are people who will do days 4 and 5, and there are people that will only do day 4. By the time we get to day 5, I would say that we have around 50 people left, okay? 50 to 75. And whenever we run these, at least 1,000 people would show up. And by the end of it, participating with 50 to 75 people. Why? What made these guys different? What made these guys different from all the other 950 people or men that were there before? So there's a couple of key things that stand out. Number 1, they needed this more than they wanted it. So a lot of these guys wanted to change, but they didn't necessarily see the need yet. They hadn't hit that point in their life where they went, I need this. Like, we need oxygen. We need food to live. We don't want it. We need it. And you need this to need to feel fulfilled, need to feel significant, need to feel progression. So we go through that, okay? We need to be committed. All we're asking for is 10 to 15 minutes a day. This is just an insight. This is not a full-on course. This is an insight. We need to be connected. So it's getting into the habit of coming into the app, watching the video, doing the task, which takes about 5-10 minutes, being involved in the community. Just 1% wins every day. We need to make sure that we are starting to see the benefits. So we do start to see them. Our wives react and go, you seem calmer. We seem to be in more control of our working habits, all right? So because we're seeing that benefit, we're doing the benefit stacks. So the benefit stack is I'm starting to see all of these things change for me because I've committed and I'm in, and we're no longer tolerating the old identity. So we look at this guy here. We go back to the overview. The guys that breaking through, they don't want to go back to that guy. They don't want to go back to day 1, week 1, right? And that's what separates these guys here from the 950 people. That's all it is knowing that you need this more than you want it, being committed, being connected, seeing the benefits for what they are, and no longer wanting to tolerate that old identity. So in summary, it's really important to understand what's going on in your head in terms of your emotions, your actions, your outcomes, your decision making. And when you look at this from a bird's eye view, we've been doing this now for nearly 10 years. We've had over 20,000 people come through this process, but only 5 to 10% people remain to the end. And if you understand the reasons how to become that 5 to 10% of people that show up and change their lives, then the way that you're living your life right now can evolve. You can execute, and you can embody a new identity. And again, like I've always said, if this is something you look at this and you go like, I need to transform, I need to change something, then go to our link that's in the description, have a look at the document that's there, click the link. And if you feel like you're ready, you come in. And do you know what? In over 6 weeks, if you do not feel like you have transformed and you've done the work, I will give you all of your money back. And the cost of the course, I will donate to a charity of your cause, because we are that confident in knowing exactly the steps you need to take to become the man that you know, and I know that you're capable of being, and actually the one that your family deserves. So I see you on the other side.